rhythm may not be overpowering, but the rhythm is there nevertheless. And I think that if you get the rhythm right and it vibrates to your heartbeat, there is something very calming about it. If you crank it up and make it like club rhythms, then of course you get excited. But otherwise you're sorted with a nice soft tempo going, a tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. It calms you.
So you're saying that when we talk about rhythm, as we often do in terms of bass lines or percussion or whatever, we're making a mistake. Rhythm is how we talk, rhythm is how we chant. It's much more than, say, just drums.
You're absolutely right. We are making a mistake by not giving rhythm its due credence. It is much, much more than just dancing to a beat. It is intrinsically woven into our lives on many, many levels.
How interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way. Okay, which of you is going to go first? Okay. So do you think music can heal? And you're the right people to ask this because you've heard, from the time you left your mother's womb, you've heard music, right?
So, firstly, namaskar and good afternoon. It's been an honor to be here. So, yes, I actually completely resonate with what was said just now. I think music for us has been a way of life. We never looked at it as a profession. But then again, you know, we were literally in the ocean and we were asked to swim because we had that atmosphere at home. The atmosphere at home was all music. The air we were breathing was music. So for us, we didn't know better. So that's why it became a way of life. I didn't think we ever saw life outside of music or music outside of life. It was the same thing. And, you know, music is a reflection of who you are. Your nature reflects through your music. If you're a restless person, your music will convey that. If you are built a certain way, you know, your music conveys your nature. So that's why the emotions, what Bickram Bhai said, all of that, it's part of who we are. It's part of our DNA. And I think the journey called life kind of shapes you as who you are as a musician. You're a student in this field till the last day you walk this planet. But I think your breakups, your link-ups, your heartbreaks, your heartaches, everything is resonated through your music.
That's interesting. Let me ask your brother if he agrees with you.
All the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, namaskar.
But you accept what he says, that music is not just music for people like you who've grown up with it. It's a language. What you express through music is your life, your mood, from heartache to happiness.
It's a journey. It's completely a journey, and it's still going on. And I'm proud to say that as musicians, music can never lie. We can't manipulate through music. With words, you can manipulate, but through music, you cannot manipulate. And so what you just mentioned about the healing part, I think good music with good intention is healing. It can be the other way around also.
Why is the intention important?
Sir, वो पुरानी कहावत है, नियत साफ मंजिल आसान. So humility, what my father's taught us, he says, I asked him once, I said, there's so much of tabla, sitar, sarod, vocal happening. What's our future? He said, well, your biggest competitor is not somebody who's better than you musically, but somebody who's more humble than you. So in our journey, we are taught about lifestyle first, try to be a nice person, you know? That's what I've learned from Shubha, Bickram, with my seniors, you know, that's what we learn from elders. That why is she loved? Why is he loved? More than the music, it's also your temperament that really matters, I feel.
So this is probably just a very subjective question, but in my experience, great musicians like you guys with a background in classical are actually much more humble than people with a pop background or a rock background. Why is that?
I think it's a culture. I think it's just a culture because our music is more about, you know, what we've heard from the great ustads and the pandits, you know, what we've learned from them. It's to do with spirituality, I think. Indian classical music is connected with spirituality. And Shubhadi, Bickram, if I'm going wrong, please interrupt. Please. And also, I think I was smart enough, I think I'm smart enough to do my research. The only thing that takes a musician or any creative person ahead in life is being grounded and being humble. Because I've seen enough examples just disappearing, unfortunately. So.
And I wanted to ask you that. All of us, we've heard your music, we've heard your father's music, and it transports us to another dimension because it's so good. But that's us as listeners. I know how hard you guys work. I know what a hard taskmaster your father is. I know how he responds if at a concert he thinks you guys were not 10 on 10. So does that pressure ever come in the way? Or once you start playing, does the music just take over?
You see, a guru or a mentor can just convey the path to you. But I think the realization or the sense of responsibility has to come from within.
Yeah.
I don't think that can be kind of thrown upon you. If you don't feel it, then don't do it. And I think that was his reverse psychology with us. He was, obviously, my father, I think he was more of a father, and the guru part happened later because we were so young when we were learning. But I think he always left the ball in our court. When we would go up to him and say, how did we perform? He would say, listen to the recording and work it out, sort yourself out. You know what you should do, or at least you should know the direction or the path you want to take. So he left the ball in our court, and that, I think, made us realize from within, or made us feel the pressure, which happened organically, rather than him imposing it. So that's why I think it was very important that, he was someone who let us do what we wanted to do. Let us listen to all kinds of music, and let us grow as musicians. I think because more you listen, the more you learn. And that's literally, and even today, there's so much going on. People like Shubha Di, Bickram Bhai, they have always done things outside the box. And they came, and they have been such purists as well. So it doesn't make anyone a lesser musician. But now, so much interesting work is happening. We all are doing all kinds of things. We recently did a track for Coke Studio with rappers.
Yeah.
Because rappers have become quite the thing in India.
Did with rappers means you rapped?
No, I didn't. We played.
Okay,
we stuck.
you did the music.
We stuck to the sarod,
Okay.
and the group was called Seedhe Maut.
Okay, all right, yeah. I can't see you rapping. I can see your brother rapping. I'm not sure I can see you rapping. Yeah, okay. Shubha, not only are you one of India's most distinguished classical vocalists, you're also somebody who's broken away from just classical music, has done popular songs, has had hit songs and hit records. You've spread joy to people who may not have been interested in classical music. You've made so many people happy. Is that healing for you as well, that you spread so much happiness?
I think for any artist, it's always very, very reassuring to hear people come up to them and say, I heard this song and I was moved to tears, or that I just can't stop myself from dancing when I hear your Aapke Sawan, or something like that. And this is a song that is over 20 years old. So in a music industry where songs just last for a few weeks, it's wonderful to see that happened, and that people are still listening to these songs. That gives me that little pat on the back and reassurance that yes, there are people listening. But at the same time, I must say that if eyebrows were to go into hairlines to say, oh my God, what has she done? Yeah. I don't think I could still stop myself from trying to work with other forms of music.
You would do it anyway?
I would do it anyway.
Why?
Despite, I think as a student of music, I'm curious. And I am delighted at the fact that I'm getting opportunities to work with different kinds of disciplines and forms of music. Why would I not want to learn from that? Yeah. So I feel that all of these experiences have been enriching for me, and I value those experiences. I don't consider them as experiences that have led to my straying away from what I set out to do in the first place.
And experiences that have made millions of people happy, no? You've spread joy.
That's true, and not just because of me, but because of the wonderful people who wrote these songs, composed the music.
You're being humble, but basically it is your songs.
Well, their contribution can't be denied.
Yeah, sure, okay. Bickram, how much of this, when we talk about rhythm, I always wonder how much of rhythm is international and how much of it is Indian in our case, or does it cut across all boundaries? Because say you're playing the sitar or whatever, the rags are almost by definition Indian. But with rhythm, you have more rhythm. No? You have more space and more freedom to do things. There's that famous story about Allah Rakha going in the 60s to a club where Buddy Rich was performing, and he went there and he just blew all of them off stage. So sometimes I think we lack an understanding of how gifted our musicians are and how great our rhythm tradition is.
Thank you. That's a wonderful question. Rhythm in its essence is cuts across nations, cuts across pretty much anything. But Indian rhythm in particular has a tremendous tradition, has a fantastic history of understanding of not of rhythm as life. So the whole concept of the circular rhythm, which is the tala structure.
Explain that, so I'm not sure everyone understands that concept.
We as Indian percussionists, we think of rhythm as a tal. We are taught to think of it as a tal.
Okay.
Imagine a clock. So you have a 16-beat tal called teen tal, which is the simplest and the most popular. So you have a clock with a 1 at the top, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, back to the 1. And you keep going in rotation with that, which is why I said before that everything in the cosmos is in rotation, you know.
Yep.
Indian rhythm was thought in that way, connecting it to the cosmos, because it's a very, very old tradition. And rhythm in India is a philosophy. It's not just a beat or a groove. So in that context, the way we see tala is so refined. And then we put syllables to tala. And syllables are like a language.
Yeah.
So in teen tal you say dha, dhin, na, da, dhin, like that. And these syllables are all onomatopic. You can play those syllables identically. They are played exactly the way that you speak them. So that gives the tradition a great fillip. It gives the tradition tremendous power, because you can talk to somebody and just say, instead of saying, how are you? It's so wonderful to see you. You can say, Kardhati dhage na da, dhati dhage na tu na kena. You know? So that gives the versatility of the rhythm is huge. And I think in the West, when they see that, the depth of the tradition, and it comes out in an instant, like as you said, the great Allah Rakha Khan Sahab had done a small solo and they were blown away.
Yeah.
That happens because the tablas are just a pair of simple looking drums. It's not even like a drum kit where you have so many, parts to the kit. You play it with hand, but incredibly intricate technique. So you have to master this drum, you're looking at least 20 years of learning. So that, I think, is now slowly and over the many decades getting to the international audiences, and people are understanding that this is a monster drum. It's not just a little, fellow sitting there and kind of, it's a monster drum. So there's a lot of power in Indian rhythm, which I think the whole world is waking up to now.
And a lot of talent. I remember George Harrison once said that he thought any great Indian tabla player could do what Ringo Starr does, but Ringo couldn't do what any of us people do.
Interesting that you should say that, because I played with George. His last album I played on Brainwashed, and he always had that, it was not just rhythm. He felt that way about Indian music in general. Yeah. He thought that the sitar had, the sarod or the sitar had incredible power. Yeah. And that is why he was playing the sitar and learning from Panditji, from Ravi Shankarji. Yeah. Yes, there is incredible power in the drumming tradition. Just imagine two hands with two completely different techniques as to play the tabla and the baya. And the right hand is like this and the left hand is like this. And each finger is a unit, unlike, say, for a conga player, where the whole hand is a unit. Yeah. So this intricacy gives it a lot of depth, and the subject matter and the literature, the sahitya of tabla is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Is your throat okay? You'll do one stanza, one of your songs? Not right away? All right, okay. I'll push you into the next time. You guys want to perform? You have something?
Sure. Yeah. They can give me a lead and I can play with them. And then
all right, okay.
So this is the magic. This is the magic of Indian classical music, that we've all met after ages, and we don't know what we are going to do, but it'll all happen here as we play for all of you.
We're cooking it here as you listen and watch.
So we'll play with a tribute to the great iconic poet and composer, the great Rabindranath Tagore ji. And Bickram bhai will do something interesting, and then we'll sum it up with a fast composition.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take it away. Let's go.
एक सेकंड का ट्यूनिंग कर लेते हैं. we discussed the heartbeat and how it's relevant. So here goes.
Wow. Wow. The power of music. I think we are very fortunate today to be in the presence of brilliance and geniuses. What you've done is astonishing. I think you've blown us all away. And more than anything you could have said, I think your performances have illustrated the point. Music can heal, music can harmonize, music can excite, and music can make us all admire you. Thank you guys. Brilliant. Thank you all for watching. Let me thank the great Shubha Mudgal, who I could not persuade to sing this time, but who I will next time. Always my favorite. And the Bangash brothers and Bickram, really, we're very fortunate. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. We are healed, we are revived, we were absolutely spellbound. Thank you for the privilege of your words and your performance. Requesting you to please stay on stage. Shubhaji, requesting you all to please stay on stage for just a moment as I
where the software engineer meets the gifted content writer, meets the cool UI UX designer, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you? Ideas of India co-presented by Dabur Vedic Tea, चाय का वही लाजवाब स्वाद अब सेहत के साथ. Co-powered by Dr. Ortho, अब दर्द भी घुटने टेकेगा. Gallant Advanced TMT सरिया निर्माण का रियल हीरो. अब आएगा खाने में असली स्वाद राजेश मसाले के साथ. Driven by Maruti Suzuki. Technology partner, create today, enrich tomorrow, Panasonic. Gold partner, Senco Gold and Diamonds, design of India for you. Partner, Biko Vajradanti, India का गम एक्सपर्ट, मजेदार नहीं असरदार. Rummy बोले तो जंगली Rummy, India's most trusted Rummy site. Get quick loans from Tata Capital. बदलते भारत की नई गैस, Go Gas. Clean and dry. Number 1 expert intimate care range. Sidco, we make sittings. MMRDA rebooting Mumbai. Knowledge partner, Sharda University. The world is here at Sharda University. Accredited A+ by NAC. Where the software engineer meets the smart market analyst, meets the gifted content writer. To create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
You can tell me to pass this question if you want, but a lot of people have asked you this. आपकी जोड़ी होती थी सलीम जावेद, एक जोड़ी में आप जी और फिर then in the 80s you separated. Was it like one day or was it a built up? Because मैं इसलिए पूछना चाहता हूँ, आजकल काफी स्टार्टअप फाउंडर्स होते हैं, साथ में स्टार्टअप खोलते हैं, यूनिकॉर्न करते हैं, फिर थोड़े साल बाद अलग हो जाते हैं. Was it amicable? Was it like? Do you want to talk about it?
नहीं, अलग-अलग केसेस में अलग-अलग होता होगा. In our case it was totally amicable and extremely civilized. देखिए क्या होता है कि अगर आपने किसी की पार्टनरशिप में सीमेंट फैक्ट्री बनाई है या टेक्सटाइल फैक्ट्री बनाई है या स्टील फैक्ट्री बनाई है, आई थिंक दैट पार्टनरशिप इज ईजियर कंपैरेटिवली. If you are basically decent people, you know raw material कितना का है मार्केट में, you know इसे बनाने में, प्रोसेस करने में कितना एक्सपेंस होता है, you know मार्केट में इसका रेट क्या है, तो कितना प्रॉफिट हो सकता है और हो रहा है. तो वो अगर आपका बहुत ग्रेट पर्सनल रेपो ना हो या ना रहे, तो भी if you are basically decent civilized people, you can continue that partnership.
देखिए, आप साउथ में जो फिल्में बनती हैं उसकी पटकथा एकदम डिफरेंट होती है. आप सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं, मक्खी बदला ले रही है, वो अलग किस्म की स्क्रिप्ट होती है. अब बहुत कम लोग यहाँ पर शायद जानते हैं कि बॉलीवुड साउथ की फिल्मों से इंस्पिरेशन लेकर और यहाँ पर हिंदी में फिल्में बनाता है. आयुष्मान खुराना से इंस्पायर होकर साउथ में फिल्में बन रही हैं. ये कैसे हुआ?
अब तक ये हुआ है. विकी डोनर, बधाई हो, अंधाधुन, आर्टिकल 15 और अब एक्शन हीरो के लिए लोग मांग रहे हैं उसके राइट्स. बट ओरिजिनलिटी मुझे पसंद आती है, लेकिन आपने एक साउथ को आई थिंक एक जनरलाइज नहीं करना चाहिए साउथ के सिनेमा को. मैं मलयालम सिनेमा काफ़ी फॉलो करता हूँ. फहद फाजिल जो है मेरे बहुत चाहिए थे, मुझे बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं. उनकी जो सिनेमा है मुझे बहुत इंस्पायर करती है. तो तेलुगु, तमिल, कन्नड़ा, मलयालम, सो ये अलग अलग सुर हैं, इनके अलग अलग ग्रामर है हर एक इंडस्ट्री का. तो मलयालम सिनेमा मुझे बहुत एक इंस्पायर करती है। हाँ, वो एक कमर्शियली जो हम मापदंड हैं वो उसमें शायद कभी-कभी वो आई थिंक इट्स मोर क्रिटिकल, एक स्लो बर्न होता है उसमें, तो मैं उससे ज़्यादा इंस्पायर होता हूँ।
फेलियर्स हम सबके जीवन का हिस्सा होते हैं, सक्सेस होती है, फेलियर्स होते हैं। जब कोई फिल्म नहीं चलती है, मेहनत तो बहुत करते हैं और सिर्फ एक्टर्स नहीं, डायरेक्टर, पूरा एक लंबा चौड़ा क्रू,
100%।
कैसे उस इमोशन को कैसे हैंडल करती हैं, क्या करती हैं सारा उस समय जब फिल्म रिलीज होती है, बॉक्स ऑफिस पे नंबर नहीं आ रहा है, रेवेन्यू नहीं आ रहा है, तो मतलब कैसे क्या करती हैं उस समय?
एक तो हार नहीं मान सकते हम, ये बात बहुत ज़रूरी होती है कि उतार चढ़ाव तो होते रहेंगे, लेकिन जो आप अंदर महसूस करते हो उसे क्वेश्चन नहीं करना चाहिए, और वो शायद मैं सीख रही हूँ वक्त के साथ। तो जैसे अगर मेरी कोई फिल्म नहीं चली तो इस बात पर गौर करना ज़रूरी है कि ये क्यों नहीं चली, ना कि जस्ट वॉलोइंग इन सेल्फ पिटीज, क्योंकि उससे कुछ होता नहीं है। तो आई थिंक ये जानना चाहिए कि ये फिल्म क्यों नहीं चली, जनता को क्या चाहिए, और अगर आप सचमुच ईमानदारी और शिद्दत और मेहनत से काम करो तो कहीं ना कहीं सब ठीक हो ही जाएगा। इट्स ऑल पार्ट ऑफ द जर्नी।
जब कोई स्क्रिप्ट आती है तो क्या आप अमृता जी से, सैफ जी से डिस्कस करती हैं, पूछती हैं, उनके साथ चर्चा करती हैं कि ये स्क्रिप्ट मुझे करनी चाहिए या नहीं करनी चाहिए, या आप एक्सपेरिमेंटल कि चलो यार ये